Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Cookie Monster ProForgeRacing bringing you my 76th ForgER review, DarkLynx976. DarkLynx is a really good racetrack forger who forges some pretty unique maps. This first one here is called Killer Valley, and it's a decent map. It doesn't have the best overview, and it's not the most perfect double-wide map with huge banked waves and perfectly smooth double-wide turns, but it's a pretty good map nonetheless. It still feels really smooth, however the turns aren't like perfect or anything like that. It's got some unique features, and it's kind of like hardcore-ish almost, which I like. I think that's really cool about it. It's got like, it had those boxes before in the middle of the track, and flat up against them were landmines, so you could, if you hit those, you would blow up and stuff. And so it's got some cool features like that you don't really see in every other racetrack. So even though it's not as smooth as some, again, right there, someone was going the wrong way and I nailed them, just flipped. But yeah, even though it's not as smooth as some double-wide maps, it's really fun. This next one has a ton of scenery too. It's not like the most perfect scenery, and it's not supposed to be anything, I don't think, but it just looks nice. Even random scenery is better than no scenery, but theme scenery is better. I think that's kind of a cool little start there. You kind of just hop up from the shield door a little bit. It's kind of fun, you just hop up. But this one's called Serpent Highway, and I think that's what the rock scenery is supposed to be, actually. I believe the rocks are supposed to be like parts of a giant serpent that go over and under like the whole map. So that's kind of cool. It actually is a themed map and scenery. I didn't even realize that until I just put that together right now. So that's kind of cool. The whole map is like a giant serpent that goes up and over it and stuff. But yeah, he uses kill balls a lot. Oh, there's the face of the serpent. I just saw that. That's awesome. It had eyes and a tongue. So, that's cool. I didn't even notice that until right now while I'm recording the audio part to the video. So, yeah. And right here, there's like a couple little things in the map just to mess you up. And, there's another head of the serpent shooting fire out. Like, I didn't even notice this. I failed the ending there, but that's alright. You got the gist of the map anyways. This next map is a really nice SX track. It is called Baltimore SX, and since it's called Baltimore SX, I don't know if he's from Baltimore or if Baltimore SX is a real supercross dirt bike racetrack that he's basing it off of, and that's my guess. I'm assuming he's basing it off of a real supercross track, trying to make it as accurate as possible. And I know other supercross people have done that before. I think Vionized has done that with a few, and I think that's even cooler because SX tracks are hard to make. And I know recreating stuff is hard to make. Like, I recreated Minas Morgul. I think that's the only one I have. Like, of a, some sort of a, something that you're trying to specifically create. So I can't imagine how hard it is to recreate it, a supercross track. Because they're hard enough to make anyways. And these jumps all work pretty well and stuff. Like, it's not the best supercross track. However, it's still a pretty good track. So, yeah, I'm surprised he was able to get it so well, if it is a recreation. But as you can tell, it's a pretty nice map. Right there, I think that's a roll. Oh no, it's not a rollover. I thought it was a rollover that I was just jumping over. I do that sometimes on rollovers. I don't realize they are, and I just jump over them. For those of you who may not know, rollers are parts in SX tracks where it's just a quick up and down hill, and you're supposed to slowly roll over it and slow down, but I usually jump over them. Anyways, this next map's called Catastrophical, not F, but P, Catastrophical. And it's got some crazy looking scenery. It doesn't really look like anything that I can tell. It's just like different shapes and designs and stuff made out of random objects, and so it looks pretty nice though. It's a pretty smooth double-wide map. Definitely you can see his improvements from his first map, Killer Valley, to this one, Catastrophical and stuff. You can see his improvement in double-wide forging and how he's been able to enhance and make smoother maps. But it's a really nice map. It's pretty smooth, it's fun. I like this map. And it's not like hard, and there's no jumps or anything that like make you fail, and that's really good, because it's annoying when certain jumps like force you to fail and it's not even like your fault. So that's good. But yeah, it's a nice map. It's an easy to race map. It's got some scenery. It's got a lot of scenery, but I think it's mostly just random scenery, but it still looks cool. This next map is really cool. This one's called The Tunneler, and if you play this, I recommend you play it with like at least 10 laps, because the lap time on this is like literally like 10 seconds or less than that. So play high laps on this, maybe even like 20, 30, 40, 50 laps, because it's really fast. So definitely do that, but you'll see how fast, 3 laps go, which I think is what I play here. I play 3 laps. And there's explosives that fall, and it's just this tiny little tunnel that has 4 symmetrical little quadrants to it, and it makes like a T, like a lowercase T shape, cross. And you go, you just go, you can either go, up and down or left and right, and you just go, left and right, or up and down and up and down, because I think the checkpoints are on all 4 sides, and there's a checkpoint on the side, a checkpoint in the middle, and then a checkpoint on the side, and I think that's it. And once you get those 3, I think you're done, unless you get a second one in the middle, but it's something really short like that. And so, you just do a couple quick laps. This one would be really fun for like a 50-lap tournament with like 16 people, and the lead would switch like every 10 seconds. It would be crazy to see who finally won. But anyways, this next map is called Breakpoint Hill, and this is another double-wide map of his, and again, it's gotten even smoother and smoother. This one's kind of a hybrid though, because there's a little bit of terrain in it. And it starts off with that broken uphill track part, which I think is kind of cool. The track is like gapped, so you kind of like bump along, but if you're going full speed, it works perfectly, so I like that. It's something very unique that I've never really seen another forger do. I love this little tunnel here, that like golden tunnel. That tunnel looks really nice. And but yeah, it's a much smoother map than like Killer Valley. This is the type of forger I love to review, because instead of just saying, that every single map is great, you can really see the improvement from a not so great map to a pretty great map to a map like this that's really great, which is the difference between like Killer Valley, Catastrophical, and this one. So I just love those transition in talent. But this is a pretty smooth map. It's there's nothing really going on, like too many jumps or crazy scenery or anything like that. It's a pretty simple map, but it's long and it's pretty big and it's smooth. Like, as you can tell, it was started like way on the other side of the island, and it's over here now. And there's a little bit of terrain here and there, so it's definitely a hybrid. It's much more double wide, but there is a little bit of terrain. I think it's mostly only at the beginning. Anyways, this map here is called Catastrophical The Fallen, and this map is awesome. This one is really cool, actually. I love this one feature he uses here, the grid. Normally, you think, oh, grids on a racetrack, like, that's a horrible idea. But the way he uses it, he puts one double wide, like, turn into it, and then you do, like, a loop that comes from it and goes to it, and then there's another turn that comes off of it. So, like, he makes, like, a T of racetrack around the grid. And he has these really cool looking lanterns that I've seen a few people make recently. I've seen it on, like, 3 different Forger reviews, so I don't know who's the first one to come up with it. But these little lanterns, like, with the light and a couple little, I don't know what's inside them, but it looks amazing. I just love the way those things look, and he has a couple of those on here. And this rock turn here, I'm not a fan of square turns, but he at least like made it subtle here. Like, he added rock barriers and added a light over it and stuff, so I think that's really cool. And so I really like this map a lot. And there he is, there's the runner. This map's called Temple Run, and I'm sure it's named after that new game, well, not new anymore, but that game that had come out for the iPod. But Look at how smooth that map is. Like, look at the overview. That's a nice overview of a smooth double-wide map. And like I said, on his first map, Killer Valley, I was like, it doesn't have a great overview. And so at the start of the review, we had a map with a bad overview. Not bad, but it wasn't a good overview. And, you know, we end the review with a map that has an amazing overview. So that's the kind of transition I love to see in a ForgER. You know, when he first started, DarkLynx976 wasn't the best ForgER, but now, you know, he got a review, and he makes really good maps now, and I'm sure, you know, he'll get a lot more popular. Right there, just half the game at least just falls off the map. There's like 3 or 4 of us that fell off, and I don't know who caused it, but it wasn't me. No. I like this little part right here. There's some crazy scenery and stuff. But anyways, go to DarkLynx976's files.